Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Can you see and hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. I see you're in the same space where you feel comfortable speaking and we
Yeah.
okay, great.
Yeah, I'm just here at my friend's
Seen you here
house.
before. Okay. Okay. How's your I just wanted to start by checking in and seeing how your past week has been.
It's been good. I followed up on a couple of those housing things we talked about and found a couple of the applications online. So I'm feeling pretty motivated and that was good news to see that it was so easy to apply.
Yeah, that's great news.
Hmm.
It seems like you were motivated to do that. Like that was important to you to follow
Yeah.
up and because I know you have a lot going on too. So
Yeah, totally. It was really important. And I didn't realize there were so many resources. So it was nice to find them and then also just like be able to apply to one or two.
okay. Yeah, you'll have to let me know how it goes. And
Yeah.
if there's anything else that I can send you some follow-up resources on or anything else you need support around.
Yeah, totally. I will.
Okay. And I know we also talked about maybe connecting with a social worker to help you explore that more.
Hmm.
Um, so that may be something if you're interested in too.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that would be good to have like some support on it too.
Yeah, that way when we stop meeting, you'll still have someone that you can sort of connect with to help you continue, not just, for these that you're maybe applying for that may or hopefully one of those works out. But if
Yeah,
not, you'll have someone there kind of advocating for you and helping you get that information.
totally. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Have there been any challenges this past week? Anything that's come up?
Um, Well, I don't know. Like I spent the beginning of the week kind of focusing on the housing stuff. And so I was in a pretty good mood, but then like at the big like middle of the week, I just started feeling pretty down again. And so I had hoped to apply to many different like housing things, but I just started feeling kind of sad and bummed out. And so I just kind of spent all day in the bed the last couple days. So that's been kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's really frustrating, especially when you started out and you were able to do that. And then when you're not feeling well and you're feeling down, then it's really hard to
Yeah.
reach out and do some of those things that you
Mm.
want to do, but you're just not feeling totally up for it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really hard because it makes it hard for me to get my like tasks done and stuff like that.
And you've mentioned that you kind of deal with that sometimes too, like these feelings of sadness kind of coming and going. That's something that in the past has also kind of gotten in the way.
Hmm. Yeah, totally. Like I feel like I've had these kind of moments of being sad my whole life. So um and you're right, they do get in the way of kind of just getting like doing what I want to do or like I said, sometimes I'm just out for like a couple days at a time. So that makes it really hard.
Yeah. Would you be open to maybe talking about that today? Maybe having a session more focused on depression and maybe your experience of this sadness and some options we might have to support you?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. Um, and I know that we talked about this some in the core sessions of mental health that we did.
Right.
But like, how often do you feel like you've talked about how you've basically since childhood, like had these comings and going feeling of sadness? How often do you feel like it usually happens?
I think that it's like kind of at least once or twice a week. I
Okay.
think it's like my baseline is to be kind of sad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. So your baseline is sad, but then 1 to 2 times a week, it gets a little worse.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm always kind of gloomy and sad, but like sometimes I'll have a little bit of, kind of happiness that takes me out of the sad, but then some days it's a little worse, like the sadness is just too much and I have to like stay in bed all day.
Okay. And
Mhm.
when you feel like it's too much, then it's impacting you because it's like you're you're not feeling well enough to do some of the things that you maybe like to do. And you were talking about how that's kind of annoying sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't do anything. Like the days that I'm feeling really bad, like I don't even move. I don't really eat. Like I don't get out of bed at all.
Okay.
Mhm.
And how does that part make you feel?
Um, Frustrated because like um, I know there's a lot of things that I need to do to like get my housing or get, like if I ever decide to do school again, which I've been thinking about, like there's a lot of stuff I need to be doing, but it's just really debilitating to not be able to do anything.
Okay.
Mhm. Like even like I can't, you know, I can't even take my meds those days. I can't get like if I have anything scheduled, like a housing appointment or anything, I'm not able to go to any of that. So it sets me back a lot when I'm
Okay.
sad.
Yeah. It affects your well-being, it sounds like too, and maybe some of your HIV stuff, like you said, your medications, um, your
Mhm.
housing.
Mhm. Totally. Yeah, like it makes it I'm like not able, like I said, like I literally don't do anything those days. So definitely sets me back.
And you talked about how at the beginning of the week you were able to do a couple of things for housing. And how do you feel like when you're able to come through that? You talked about these kind of happy moments that pull you through. What are those things that help you to get to that space? Or how are you kind of coping with this and dealing with it?
Um, I don't know. I don't really do anything. I just kind of like wake up and if I'm feeling better, I'm feeling better. If I'm not, I'm not. Like I just kind of hope that the days I have stuff to do is a good day. Um, yeah, I don't know. It feels kind of like random.
Okay.
Mhm.
You're not quite sure sometimes what it is that's leading to you feeling happier, a little bit better and able to do some things.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think I just think it's kind of like the luck of the draw each day. Like depends
Okay.
what it's gonna be
And
like.
then when you do those things, do you find yourself feeling better when you are able to do those things?
Totally. Yeah, because I feel like I'm getting something accomplished. Mhm.
Yeah. And that it's sort of that idea sort of mirrors this other idea. If you're kind of open to hearing about a little skill that can be helpful when you're in those moments. I don't
Mhm.
know if you're open to it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, sometimes there's this skill and it's called behavioral activation. And it's just this exact idea that you're talking about. How I don't know if you've noticed yourself, like if you listen to a sad song and you
Mm,
feel really sad after for a little while,
mhm,
that sometimes you're when you're when you're already feeling really down, like the depression, oftentimes when you have this sadness, your brain sort of goes into that protection mode where
yeah.
you're not really able to engage or wanting to engage because it's so challenging. You're just trying to protect yourself and just be there in that space, which
Mm,
makes a lot of sense.
mhm,
Um, and they've actually found through research in individuals that deal with depression that sometimes when you're able to do the things that make you feel better, that then it can help you overall. It sort of changes your brain. Like if you hear about exercise, like a lot of times it's hard at first to do it, but then
yeah,
it releases those happy chemicals and you feel better after. It's
yeah.
that sort of that same idea that sometimes if you're able to do something that makes you happy before you feel like doing it, that
Mm,
it can actually help you feel better. Because as you've noticed, like you were saying, like once you're in that really challenging space and you're not feeling good, and then you're not able to do the things that you enjoy, then it sort of keeps you in that space and makes you sort of spirals.
mhm,
I don't know if you've noticed that at all.
totally. Yeah.
So that might be a little helpful tip. And I actually even have a handout I could send you on that if you're interested to read a little more about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. I've never heard of tips like that before. I just I had to like suffer through it. So
Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that, because you're not alone in that. And
Mm,
I hear from a lot of clients experiencing depression that they have similar challenges.
mm,
And there may be some options too where you can get more skills and tools and tips like that that can be helpful in dealing and managing with depression.
mm.
Um,
Okay. Yeah, I'd be down to try that.
and we talked a little bit about the options as well in the core sessions, like individual therapy or group therapy,
Yeah.
or they even have like some outpatient. There are more options that are more intensified, where you would like go to a space for a day for a couple of weeks, maybe from like 4 hours or something like that. And they actually have classes that teach you things like this. And so that might be an option too, depending on if you qualify.
Hmm.
Um, but
Hmm.
have you heard about any of those things? I know when we talked last time, you'd heard a little bit, it seemed like, but maybe not a ton.
Yeah. I have a couple of friends who are in like they have like a therapist or whatever. But like I always because my like situation is not that bad. I like know that it's probably not for me. Like, my friend, she had like thoughts of wanting to hurt herself and now she has a counselor, but like I've never really had those kind of thoughts. So I don't really know, like, I don't know. And then when I grew up, like I've had this my whole life, but my parents really just kind of told me that like treatment like that is for crazy people. So I just assume that like it's not bad enough for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of, think a lot of messages that we get too. You're saying like from family and friends and ideas that we have about what mental health looks like and what it means to get help or need help. And like you're saying that it might mean or feel that you're crazy and different things like that, which can be quite challenging to
Mhm.
navigate. So I definitely understand that. And it sounds like it's something that you're sort of thinking through. Um, and maybe also noticing that, you know, some of these skills, like the one that we just talked about, might be things that could help you feel better from your day to day.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying that I don't have to be like really bad?
Yeah, so it's actually like mental health. These resources and skills and tools can help all of us, no
Mhm.
matter where we are. And they are actually, for the specific type of depression that you have too, and just depression in general. Um, there's a lot of these skills and tools that are really helpful for those things specifically. And it's actually even more helpful oftentimes if you can use them before you get to, so that you don't get to maybe a space that is more difficult, like you're talking about with your friend in suicide.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
and just to have the daily support, because it can be, what you're describing is still challenging,
Hmm.
and it
Hmm.
must be difficult to to feel that way sometimes, or to not be able to feel like fully your best, or
Totally.
where you want to be.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just thought I had to suffer through it. Like I thought there was just kind of like get over it. Like that was the only option. So um yeah, I never thought about before that I could like access those services.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate your, thinking and exploring it, and thinking about what's right for you. So
Mhm.
maybe I can send you some resources on a few different things. And if you're open to it, just maybe checking those out and seeing if any of them seem like a good fit. Because sometimes it's just like trying something out too, maybe try it out, see if it's for you. And if it's not, trying something else out. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, which can be hard when you're already not feeling great anyway. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
which which of those things that we talked about, do you feel like any of those is a place that you'd want to start, or that you'd be interested in learning more about?
Um, I think that it would be good to know like if there's someone that I could like check in with, um like when I'm feeling down, like if I mean, I don't know if that's like a psychiatrist or something, but, or a therapist, but like, I like the idea of having one person that I talk to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll definitely send you some resources on that. And, even with the therapist, when you find someone that you feel comfortable with and that is a good fit, you may not need to see them every week. Maybe sometimes you could, see them periodically, different things like that. So there might be some different options. And then they could also help you think about, as you're moving through some of the different treatments or things that we know are helpful for depression, thinking about medication, if that's something that at some point might be helpful as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested to see like the process of like finding someone like that. Like how do I get to someone like that?
Yeah, I will. If I will get your what your insurance is. I think we'll look at your insurance, and then I'll send you some resources. And then
Okay.
I also think like getting you connected with that social worker and that
Okay.
wraparound clinic like we've talked about, maybe that's a step we can take this week that can then also help you to get connected to those, to also hopefully a therapist or a counselor who will have, maybe some specific HIV knowledge, or just be able to see similar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that'd be good. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see what options those are, and I'll send those out to you.
Okay.
How important do you feel like it is for you to get mental health support after kind of the conversations that we have had?
Well, I think it would be good to not have these times where I'm just like completely taken out by feeling sad. So I think if I could get that from somebody or like some medication or something, I think that would be really beneficial. So I think it's kind of important to at least try to see if it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're thinking that even though you're not, feeling really intensely bad, that maybe having some support could still help you to feel better and maybe reach some of the goals and the things that are important to you.
Yeah. And then like if I could avoid those days where I'm really down and I don't do anything, then that gives me more time to like get things done that I really want to do. So
Yeah.
yeah, if I can get rid of some of those, that it might be worth it just to try.
And to feel better overall. We're saying with
Yeah.
your healthcare, your well-being, and then with housing and some of those things too.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like this week you're gonna work on reaching out to the clinic and the social worker that maybe I provide you with, and then working together from there also to find a good maybe a couple of therapists that you could reach out to. How does
Yeah,
that sound?
that sounds good. So what do I do? Like what am I going to say to the social worker? Like, how do I get connected with them? What do I
Yeah,
like?
I think that you can just reach out, and if you want to CC me too, you're welcome to.
Mhm.
But you could just reach out and say, that this is, you're interested in what services they can provide
Okay.
and what might be available to you, and maybe a good time to chat. And you could maybe chat with them over the phone, or a lot of times they have two, you can drop in, or you can make an appointment with them. You can kind of see what the availability looks like. How does that sound to you?
Um, I think it is a little scary.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm a little worried that I don't know what to ask. But maybe I could just like draft an email and send it to you first,
Yeah.
see how it looks.
That sounds great. And
Okay.
I'm happy to give you some feedback or some pointers. And even next time we could do a little role play if that's something that might be helpful, just to
Okay.
think about what you might say or what you might want to say. Cause it is challenging to be vulnerable and to tell someone, what's going on, or to ask for something, or to not be sure, what the fit is or what you need. So
Mhm.
I really appreciate your honesty in that.
Yeah.
And I'd love to support you in that process.
Okay. Yeah, I think that sounds more doable for sure.
Okay, maybe we can check in at the beginning next week about that and see what came up. And with an email draft as well, I'll be looking in my inbox this week. But also, check in and see how you're feeling, and maybe
Mm,
we can continue this conversation as well, in addition to another area that may come up.
that sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. And I just want to commend you for having this conversation and thinking about your mental health and thinking about reaching out and, taking some of these steps. I
Yeah.
recognize that some of these things are, like you said, it can be really scary.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
I appreciate you having this conversation.
Thanks.
And I look forward to continuing it and hearing from you this week.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Great. Bye-bye.
Bye.